Hello, my name's Sarita, and I'm here to help you understand the truth about who you are. And what I wanted to share with you today was my thoughts and feelings upon the nature of empathy and what empathy truly means and how we can use it as a tool to change our planetary consciousness. And I really had a massive light bulb moment yesterday when I was working with my heart center, and I suddenly really understood how empathy can literally transmute all suffering upon this planet, and how we each have the ability to work with empathy in unique ways. Everybody has different ways that they can work with empathy, but how that will literally affect the matter and fabric of our reality upon this planet. And obviously, we are moving into a phase where we are beginning to see the superficiality of what we've been living in, the destructive nature of what we've absconded and given our power away to. And many of us are now awakening to this truth that it's up to us as sovereign beings to emanate a new way of being that can be, if you like, absorbed and taken up by the whole, and so that we can express our experiences upon this planet in a completely different way. And empathy is the key. And if you have been listening to my videos for a while, you will have heard me say many times that we are an empathic species. So the first thing to really understand is that empathy is our natural state. So empathy is how we are when we haven't given our power away to something outside of ourselves, when we're not in a state of fear or separation or victimhood. And obviously you've heard me say many times as well that there are a lot of forces upon this planet that are trying to pull us away from our natural organic state, from our natural expressions as a collective empathic species. And so we need to be mindful of when we are behaving in ways that are not aligned to our true nature. And that's what a lot of my work has been about. It's been about excavating the shadow, looking at your conditions and patterns that aren't really yours, but you're just playing out because you've been programmed from an early age or for thousands of ages and lifetimes from believing that that's who you truly are. So a lot of the work is understanding and feeling your way into what is yours and what is not yours, and letting go of what is not yours, so that you're kind of left with the raw material of who you are as an organic, empathic being. So basically, human beings are in a collective consciousness with Gaia. So basically, we are like the cells upon the body of Gaia. We are part and parcel of Gaia. We are part of this planetary consciousness. And we cannot be separated from that. Just like we can't really be separated from all of the organic creatures and insects upon this planet and our organic brothers and sisters, our fellow earthlings. We can't be separated from them unless we choose that path of separation. And even if we do choose that path of separation, I think evolution will always be reminding us to remember the truth about who we are. So things upon this evolutionary path that we're all on, and everything is always evolving, will always be reminding us and bringing us back to and chucking synchronicities at us so that we remember that we're actually a collective species. So true empathy is a kind of powerful tool that we can use to align the collective planetary consciousness to a more loving and refined way of being, a way of being that serves the whole planetary consciousness rather than serves our individuated, materialized, selfish expressions. Okay. And I'm not talking about individuating as your own unique creative expression. I'm talking about when we go into these kind of fear-based, selfish, constricted ways of being that do not serve the whole. Because when you serve the whole truly from the heart, you become individuated and creative. You step into your purpose truly. Okay. And I had this kind of, well, just mind-blowing experience last night where I began to use my empathic tools, if you like, through the portal of my heart center. And I really suddenly understood what this body vessel can do, what it really can do, not just for ourselves, not just for others, but the whole planetary consciousness. So basically, true empathy is when you can feel, really, truly feel as a multi-dimensional, multi-sensory being, what is going on within you. And because we are all connected at a quantum level and entangled with one another in a kind of photonic light wave particle structure. So basically it's a kind of holographic universe that we are experiencing. So it's all kind of entangled and enmeshed with one another. We can effect change in massive expanded ways through the heart center when we are feeling. So true empathy is a state of feeling. Now, many of us think that we are feeling things all of the time, but the truth is that most of us are numbing ourselves or disassociated or separated from feeling a lot of the time. And I truly believe that this spiritual work, or the work of evolving, is all about feeling who you are. And more I'm getting signals and information coming to me about this eighth sense, which is a feeling state, being truly embodied within this multi-sensory experience. So it's not a multi-thinking experience, which is what a lot of people believe upon this planet, that what you think is what you are. It's not. It's what you feel is what you are. But obviously the brain is incorporated into that. But it's really about becoming truly sensory or multi-sensory and feeling everything. And I've also said many times that as you begin to truly feel things, you don't just feel the good stuff, you also feel the bad stuff, true, because you expand your feeling state and you feel more and more of everything. And as you feel more and more of everything, your perception also expands and you begin to see more and feel more of the visible light spectrum. So your perception goes from a very narrow bandwidth to an expanded bandwidth. And the more photonic light that you are seeing, feeling, and experiencing, the more empathic you're going to become, because you're going to begin to see and feel everything that is around us. I've got a piece of paper trying to fly away. So it's all about feeling. And I've also said many times that this body vessel is not a material thing. It's not just a material thing. Obviously, we're feeling through it, through our five senses, through this physical body vessel. But it's a vessel that houses and holds your divine essence, your soul, your spirit, the energy of the universe and the planet, the consciousness of this planet and yourself. So your body vessel is holding all of these energetic aspects and essences, as well as your, you know, bones, muscles, ligaments, all of those kind of things, cells. And it holds the light, the biophotonic light of who you are. And the body vessel it's like a toolkit for ascension. It's like a toolkit to experience your soul in a material manifestation. So we're doing this in a work where we're feeling more and more about who we are. We're working with the shadow. We're sitting in meditation, doing walking meditation, shamanic ceremony, whatever it takes, yoga, anything, whatever it takes to feel more and more. And obviously, we're feeling the bad stuff as well as the good stuff. But why? Why are we doing this? And it's not just about feeling more and more who you are. It's what we're going to do with that once we feel more and more who we are. Now, I have always said that the more you feel who you are, the more you're going to come to this realization that you are creator consciousness, so that you have the capacity to affect change on every level and layer, not only of your own life, but of everyone and everything around you and the planetary consciousness. And I've really finally understood that it's going to come through this empathic sensory experience. So when you can fully feel what's going on in your body, you become more empathic to yourself, what you're feeling. Empathy is about feeling more and more. And as we do this work, obviously we feel the trauma that we're holding, we feel the pain and suffering that we're holding, but we also feel the love that we're holding and the gratitude and all of those good things as well. And as we feel that, we are learning that when we allow ourselves to feel what we're holding, when we sit in the presence of that, when we allow it to be what it is, there comes from within a level of acceptance. We're not trying to judge, we're not fixing or changing, we're just sitting in the presence of our own pain. And as we do that, the separation, which has been the cause of the pain, sitting in the acceptance and the presence and the non-judgment. So we're listening to ourselves, we're sitting with ourselves, we're accepting ourselves. What happens is that the pain and the suffering, the level of feeling that we call trauma, is seen. And as it's seen, it feels accepted. The acceptance is an awareness that there's a love there, and it kind of, the separation decreases and the suffering comes to meet the acceptance, and there's like a wholeness that then heals the suffering. And this is true empathy, and many of you on this channel are experiencing this empathic flowering within yourselves. Sit with your pain, it feels acknowledged and loved, and it comes back to wholeness. And wholeness is health and happiness and healing. And obviously separation is the opposite of that. So we're working with that separation within ourselves and bringing more healing and happiness and wholeness within ourselves. But what I've realized is, because we are a collective empathic species, we have the capacity to use this empathy, this being able to feel in the bodies of others. So in the bodies of animals, creatures, in the bodies of our fellow human beings, and in the body of Gaia. So in the places that are within Gaia, the places and spaces and bodies within Gaia. That might be like the body of a tree, it might be the body of a village, it might be the body of a church, it might be in the body of another human being. So we can take this feeling state and begin to feel empathically into the bodies of other places and things and people upon this planet. And so what happened to me last night was I suddenly really understood this. And I dropped into my heart center and I connected with first one of my sons and then the other one. And I connected into the body of my eldest son. And I dropped into his heart center and I decided to just feel his heart center exactly as it was. And I had dropped into my own heart center and I was feeling my heart center. And I set my intention to really feel the heart center of my son. And I suddenly completely dropped into his heart center. I could feel his heart center in my heart center. I could feel everything that he was feeling, all the good stuff, all the bad stuff. And I can't really explain this, but I'm going to take you through a process in a minute so you can practice it yourself. But I suddenly knew, 110% that I had totally dropped into his heart center and that his heart center was being felt inside my heart center. And it was just, obviously I feel my children all of the time, but this was like on another level. I just sat there feeling it, and it was not easy, because I was feeling everything going on in the heart center, all the bad stuff as well as the good stuff, which of course all of us are holding, a flavor of all of that from the whole spectrum. From very, very bad to very, very good, So I was sitting with that, and of course it's quite hard to feel any pain of anyone, let alone someone you really love, like your eldest child. So anyway, I was just sitting with that, and it was like beyond extraordinary, because it wasn't like I was just sort of connected to him. I was in his heart center. So after a time, I let that go. And then I tried it with my youngest son. And it was a completely and utterly different experience. And again, I was feeling into his body, feeling in, going into the heart. And suddenly his heart center kind of dropped into my heart center. And obviously there was a permission being given from both my children on some quantum level that allowed me to feel into that. And again, it was like feeling this whole trajectory from the very, very bad to the very, very good, and being able to sit as a mother with all of the bad stuff. Really, I don't have a problem sitting with the good stuff. And it's not like I was getting images or information. It was a really deeply feeling state. So I was going between the two of them, feeling this, feeling that, looking at the contrasts, the differences. And then I decided to just really stay for a while with each of them. And the longer I felt, if you like, the pain or suffering aspect of the heart centers of my children, the more and more and more the pain and suffering dissipated. And I'm not saying I got to the end of that, but I felt a distinct difference. And I really felt this transmutation that was happening within me as I dropped more and more deeply into their heart centers. And I've really never experienced this before. And I suddenly understood that we can do this with anyone and anything upon the planet. Obviously, as a practice, it's easier for me to do this with my own children and people I love. But I suddenly got that we could do this with places and spaces and other people. And perhaps what true miraculous healing is when we just empathically feel what other people are feeling. But it really wasn't this kind of wishy-washy, airy-fairy, love-like thing. It was a true, deep feeling state. It was physically very, very raw. And it's not an easy thing to do. And what I'm going to do with you now is I'm going to show you the method so that you can practice this with someone or an animal or a place, and you can feel yourself what is happening. And how would it be then if you could go into, or each of us could go into, the heart of our cities or towns or villages and be so empathic and open that we could feel all of the suffering and pain that was coming up in that place through all of the quantum entanglement of everyone and everything that was there. I now understand that we can clear energetically the fields of these places and people and things without projecting any of our stuff on them, but just by feeling what is there through the heart portal. Remembering that the heart center is not just your own individuated heart center, but it's the same heart center as everything and everyone in our universe. So basically, in a way, you're going into your own heart center and choosing to feel an aspect of creation. So let's say a village or a person or a thing in your own heart center and sitting with all the pain and suffering which is within it, and it just transmutes. And many of us are doing this anyway. So if you're raising a family, you're feeling all of the aspects of that family life. Or if you're running a business, you're feeling, you know, the heart of that business. But I think we get so busy and so caught up, we don't really comprehend the inherent power we have for transmutation through this empathic process. And perhaps now what we need to do is to actively go out and seek people, creatures, areas and places and whole countries possibly, or government institutions, and transmute them through the heart center. And I think I was going around this or experiencing this to some degree when I started my consciousness technology series. And if you haven't done that yet, I would really recommend you go and do that, because it was very informative and added, certainly for me and to those of us that were doing it together, added another dimensionality to how once we take responsibility for what we're feeling inside our body vessels, that emanates out into other bodies upon this planet. And we were working with things like the education system, the government system, the health system, stuff like that upon this planet. And we were feeling real changes and differences. But perhaps it's more simple than that. Perhaps we just need to be able to feel from our heart centers into the heart centers of those other things. So I hope I'm making sense to you, but I just don't think I can even describe what a higher level of feeling state I experienced when I did this with my own children. Obviously, I know my own children, you know, really quite well, or as well as another person can know them at this stage in their lives, because I've been with them for most of their lives, and you know, we're close. But this was just another level of feeling. And maybe it's just that as a planetary consciousness, we are hitting this other level where we have access to a deeper sensory feeling state. We have access to this empathic state as a collective species that is actually there for us to align to, if we would so choose. Or perhaps it's just I've got to a stage in my own evolution where I can feel this much, but it's going to behave individually and collectively if we could all start really feeling one another properly. Like, would we eat animals if we could really feel their pain and suffering that they're experiencing in captivity? Would we pollute our planet if we could really feel what the body of Gaia was feeling? Would we say harsh words or do mean things to one another if we were really feeling the effects and the consequences of what we're doing? And this is what is needed. It's like a higher level of empathy, and it's all within us already. It's, do we choose to access it? And what happened is that I made a conscious decision before I did this process, if you like, or meditation, or whatever you want to call it. I made a conscious decision to allow myself to feel more. I dropped into my heart and I said, I choose to feel it all. And it was just cosmic. I mean, it was just amazing. So I'm now going to take you through this experience and to see what happens. You're just playing. So first of all, what I would offer is that you think about someone. Let's start with someone that you know really well, because it's going to be easier. So pick somebody that you know really well, and this is who we're going to work with. But if you don't want to pick someone that you know really well, pick a creature or a place or a space or some type of body upon this planet. You know, I don't know, you could go into a governmental body or something like that. So pick a person or a place or space. And what I want you to do now is I want you to close your eyes. You're going to just follow your breath for a few minutes, allowing yourself to become present, letting go all of the words that you have been listening to. Perhaps you can hear the wind in the trees here where I am. That beautiful sound to align you to presence. Consciously, you're going to drop your awareness into your heart center. Feel consciousness dropping down out of your head, down and down, and landing in your heart center. Just feel the heart center for a moment. And from this heart-centered perspective, you're going to decide, using your free will sovereign choice, to fully 100% feel. I choose to feel it all. Having now made that conscious choice, feel your heart center. Allow yourself to feel all the discomfort that you're holding there. All the Wonderful feelings that you're holding there. It's a sensatory experience, a sensational experience of feeling in the heart center. And often when I do this, both the light and the dark, the pain and the pleasure arises at the same time. Just feel what's going on, no judgment. Feel the sensations. And so now what you're going to do is you're going to, if you like, call forth or think about or feel into the body and being of the person that you've chosen to become empathically aligned with. It's almost like you can see them or feel them in front of you. You're going to take your awareness deeper into their body, deeper and deeper, and into their heart centers, which is your heart center also. And you're not making, just to be clear, any changes within them. Not a healing, not a doing thing. Taking your consciousness into them, feeling into them, going right into the heart center of this person. And go deeper and deeper into their heart center. Deeper and deeper. What's going to happen as you go deeper and deeper is you will suddenly feel almost like a click of something slotting into place or an alignment. The two heart centers suddenly come into resonance with one another. And it's almost like there's a of light that goes from one heart center to another. There's like a very clear connection, a slotting into place. And you can suddenly feel right into their heart center inside your own heart center. It's like a match. So now you've felt that kind of clicking into place. You're bringing most of your awareness back into your own heart center. But feeling this resonant match, this pairing. So for me, it's like I can see and feel this person in front of me, but I'm doing it through my heart center that's matched their heart center. And then now you're feeling everything that they're feeling in their heart center inside your own. Just sit and feel. Just noticing sensations. We're not trying to do anything or fix or change. Feeling this resonant match. We're certainly not blocking them or pushing them away or trying not to feel or protecting yourself. None of those things. You're just choosing to feel deeply. Heart centers within your own heart center. May feel emotions rising up. Might weep. And as you do this, I'm going to actually encourage you to feel more deeply into any pain or suffering that is coming up in your heart center. So the stuff that's uncomfortable, dark, or difficult. Not trying to change, just feeling. And as I'm doing this, I'm feeling nausea, actually. It's interesting. I'm just feeling it and sitting in it. My heart's racing. Sort of feel like I'm going to have a heart attack, actually, but I'm just feeling the discomfort. So it will feel uncomfortable. Go into the challenging feelings in your own heart center. As you sit with this discomfort, notice more and more how it's affecting you. We'll come to a point where suddenly it starts to dissipate a little or change. Get easier, softer, lighter. What's happening to me is it started to do that, and then another layer of pain was felt. Sitting with it. So much energy in my heart now. Now it's really beginning to dissipate. So perhaps this is happening to you too. It's like the heart center knows what to do. Sit with this as long as you need to. Starts to ease off. I'm going to pull you out now, but obviously you can do this again at any time. So in order to come out, I'm going to give my thanks to the person that I've connected empathically with. Experience. Slowly coming back. So that's just so powerful. I really hope that you were feeling something of that. And you begin to sort of feel that the heart center is this extraordinary device. It's just transmute, given free range to do what it needs to do and work in the way it needs to work. It just does its thing. So I'm going to encourage you to go and practice that and maybe try it with some unfamiliar things that might be a bit more challenging, like a village or a group or an institution or something. Once you're practiced into that kind of slotting in business where the two heart centers suddenly connect, and remembering that everything has consciousness, everything has a heart center, and see what happens. It's a really powerful exercise, and I think that one's ability to connect like this or transmute or alchemize suffering and pain is obviously going to work in direct relationship with how much inner work you've done, how much sensory experience you can feel, how deep can you go. But setting your intention right at the beginning to feel is going to make a difference to it all, because it's all about intention and choice, choosing what to feel. And I think up until this point, for thousands of years, we've kind of chosen to abdicate our feelings because half of them hurt. And we forgot that the other half could feel really good. And if those of us who are really doing this inner work, who really want to make a change on this planet, choose to feel more and more, we're going to affect huge change here. And this is the road. This is the road. This is how we affect change on this planet. So thank you for listening to me. I hope that's been interesting. And let me know how you go in the comments. I'll be really interested to know what happens to you. And lots of love.